Winter, and this is Confusional Arousals. About 5 years ago, I came up with the concept of a death buddy. The idea may have been kicking around for a while. I just never heard of it. A couple of things went into this idea. I went to visit my parents in New York. My mother was very sick. I remember my father sitting on the couch across from me in the living room with his head in his hands, saying, "Why is this happening?" My sister, who lives close by, visits my parents 2 to 3 times a week, taking them to doctor visits, scheduling nurses because my mom needs 24-hour-a-day supervision, and just being with them. My brother, who lives in Philadelphia, comes up maybe twice a month to visit them. I live in South Carolina, and I only get to New York 3 or 4 times a year. In other words, I am the bad son. I am the bad son. I'm not terrible. I guess that depends on who you ask and when you ask it. I care for my family, but I've become more and more of a recluse. I know this is a weird thing for a teacher to admit. Human interaction is the basis of good teaching. It just has become tougher the older I get. Off track again. I will probably circle around to that in an episode or two. So, my mom needs 24 hours a day care, and that costs a lot of money. Nursing homes, not even a consideration now or ever, is even more expensive. And, in thinking of this process that my parents are going through and my family is going through, it got me to think of my own ending. I want to leave something to my kids. On a teacher's salary, I don't have much to begin with, and I will probably have less by the time I kick off. I don't want all my wealth, and that's in air quotes, to go to the healthcare system. Medicine has gotten very good at keeping people alive, and maybe even raising a person's quality of life. But it is a no-win game. Death is inevitable. I don't want my kids to be indebted because I needed to hold on to a few more months. I don't want the vultures to sell my house to pay off my medical debt. Today, I paid a bill from LabCorp. My doctor sent me to them to draw blood to see if my cholesterol was the right dosage. My cholesterol medicine was the right dosage. A simple test. They billed my insurance company close to $600. I ended up paying about $150. I know that isn't much, but it would be significant when I am on Social Security. If that, even exists anymore when I retire. Prices would probably have gone up by then, almost certainly. There are drugs that cost hundreds of dollars per month, even with health insurance, and procedures go into the 6 figures, probably 7 figures, I don't know. How does a middle-class person leave anything to their kids?
Got the medical bill blues and I hurt so bad. They took everything that I ever had. Can't afford the treatment, can't afford the pills. Got nothing left to my name but bills, bills, bills. Doctor says I need a miracle fix, but I'm here counting pennies in a pile of bricks. Hospital lights, they never go dim. I'm drowning in debt, I can't even swim. Oh, these bills, they come and go like a nightmare that just lost a show. Every knock on my door brings more bad news. Living every day with these medical bill blues.
So I imagine my depressing future going in one of two directions. Either my savings will be drained by visiting nurses or by a nursing home. I guess there are three options. The third one is that I die in a horrible, painful, but quick accident. In Grumpy Old Men, Walter Matthau and Jack Lemmon are old friends sitting around a table discussing how their friends are dropping off. One says to the other that another friend's car stalled on the railroad tracks and was killed instantly by the oncoming train. The other one, after a slight pause, says, "Lucky bastard." 20 years ago, it would have been a horrible thing to think of such thoughts about one's own demise. Now, it doesn't seem that bad. Oh yes, there is a fourth option in thinking about this. I want to be like an old bull elephant searching out the elephant burial ground. I'll find myself a nice, quiet place at the far end by the bowling alley and just keel over. A couple of days later, the jackals could have at it. Actually, I wouldn't want to be eaten by a jackal, a lion, or a bear. I don't want to be bitten by a snake, stung by a scorpion, or have a monkey throw its feces at me. I don't know how they get any nutrition from that process, but I am not a monkey and I'm not here to judge. So many things about the wild scare me. I don't like camping. When I was younger, I went to a sleepaway camp, and the counselors and the other campers would fill my overly imaginative brain with escaped patients from nearby mental institutions coming to get me. And I did my research. There is never, ever a nearby mental institution with or without lax security protocols. So I don't like camping or being in the outdoors. Although I like the outdoors, as long as I am not in them. Let's see, other things I don't want to see on a woman's profile on a dating site. Although I don't have much of a problem with anything on a woman's profile when she is not on a dating site. Don't like being on the water, in the water, or near the water. I almost died on the water twice. I didn't believe it the first time, so I went back and tried it again, and I still almost died. My mother used to take us to the beach and leave us there for the day, and I would return home bright red. Honestly, I don't know how I have any skin left. I don't like pickleball. Hitting a cucumber with a racket seems very messy to me. And who cleans that up? You must have to leave a rather large tip for the concierge. Don't want to be anybody's partner in crime. I have been arrested several times, and the thrill is gone. I have been arrested for trying to ride a French train without paying for a ticket. Honestly, I didn't know that they had tickets in France. I was detained by the East German police when I took a picture of the guard towers before the wall came down. I am a donut, Mr. Khrushchev. I also was arrested for falling asleep on English statuary of royal persons. Don't remember who it was, but she had a crown and looked like she had indigestion. I would have slept on a guy's statue, but all the men were on horses in this particular park. So, ladies, I hope this clears up a lot of uncertainty. If you are still interested, you can follow me, and then I will have you arrested. Partner in crime, Driving to work today, I heard on NPR that the brand is more important than the product. For example, the Nike swoosh is more important than the athletic shoes they produce. They were talking about why Trump is the most successful influencer ever. He says these ridiculous things and is constantly thrown in front of us. It doesn't matter what he says. It's just the fact that he is covered by everyone on the whole entire planet for saying it. We are so busy trying to figure out what he is saying that he could do whatever he wants. This is not to say that he isn't dangerous. He is wearing down the fabric of our democracy. We no longer believe the things that our parents did about our country. The Trump brand is more invasive than anything he does. The brand is more important than the shoes. In this case, the brand is more important than our country. But our world is like that. All this information is being dumped on us. We are drowning in garbage. But how can we make real connections with the people we love when Trump and Nike and the new Applebee's Mega Meal Deal Special is always there? When I was a kid, schools told me how bad smoking was by saying that for every minute you smoke, you lose a minute of your life. I never believed that there was a 1-to-1 connection ratio. But if I'm focused on my smoke, I am not focused on other things. Now, I have smoked for 10 years before I gave it up. It took a lot of work when I wanted to look impressive for the women. It is not that different than when I am focused on my cell phone. When I'm focused on my cell phone, I'm not focused on my family, the beans burning on the stove, or my dog. And all those non-focused moments add up. The more time we give to technology, the more it demands. That is a fact of existence. The more time we give to anything, the more it becomes important to us. I once had a friend who died of lung cancer. He was 40. He smoked a couple of packs a day. The doctor said he had to give up cigarettes or he would die. He chose death over a life without cigarettes. In 1998, my liver was failing. I went to a tree-hugging clinic in San Diego, and they put me on a live food diet. No meat or animal products, strictly vegan, with nothing cooked over, I think, about 120 degrees so as not to kill the live enzymes in the food. Within a week, my liver had rebounded and was back to normal. My cholesterol was down 30 points. Now, I was not able to follow that strict diet in my real life when I returned to work, but my experience taught me a valuable lesson. If there were a choice between being around for my family for a few more years or a cheeseburger, I would always choose my family. I think there is a point in all of this. Oh wait, now I remember. It is tough to watch your loved one slip away, and the healthcare system will drain your money if you let it. 2 big points up to now. I had a friend once whose father lived in Canada. He was 85 years old. She decided that she would take care of him. Noble thought. But the father knew it was a bad idea. 2 weeks after he moved in, he threatened his daughter, and she told him he had to leave. He went back to Canada and died a few months later. A friend of her father, but a stranger to her, related the news. I think he had cancer, I don't know. He knew that he was dying when he moved in with my friend. Probably thought that it would be nice to have his daughter care for him. Then he realized he didn't want to put his child through that. So he staged this fight. When he died, she was still mad at him. But she didn't feel the pain of letting him go. I spoke to him about 2 weeks before he passed, and he asked me to tell his daughter that he was sorry. She wasn't interested in his apologies. I've thought about him quite a bit. He didn't want to be a burden on his daughter, and he didn't want to die in the hospital. When he died, he didn't have a lot, but he gave the little that he had to her. And I think that was his plan all along. I hate to say it, but I think it's a good plan. I started to think about where I could go. Canada is nice, but when it becomes the 51st state, that might be a problem. A while ago, I read The Blue Zones, a book that describes 6 places in the world where people live easily into their hundreds. I decided to go to one of those places, Sardinia, because they have really good wine there. They don't speak English a lot in that country, but I figure if I'm just going there to kick off, there would be no need to call for help. I would need someone to check up on me every week or so. Not a friend who I would have to socialize with, but someone to knock on my door, and if I don't answer, to call the police. He can also call my family and say, "Your father is, The lucky daughter who gets the call. Oh dear. Caller. What do you want me to do with the body? I know I'm going to get a lot of hate mail because of my accent, but I'm actually thinking the caller would be American with a speech impediment. Does that make it any better? I'm sorry to everyone. Daughter, toss him in the Mediterranean and let him be eaten by sharks for all I care. Did I tell you that I didn't want to be eaten by sharks? No? Well, add them to the list. Now, to make my brilliant plan work, I would need someone to come around every once in a while to see if I was still breathing. Not a friend, as I said. Friends want to visit and hang around. I just want someone to poke me with a stick if I'm not breathing, and call my people when the stick breaks. And I would do the same for him. So no, I don't need a buddy. I need a death buddy. Someone I could count on, but don't have to see. Death buddy. Knock, knock, knock. I don't know why I made that seem like it was a piece of dialogue. I don't want the death buddy to actually stand outside my door and go knock, knock, knock. I want him to actually knock. Death buddy. Knock, knock, knock. Me. Go away. Death buddy. Just checking to see if you're still with us. Me. Fuck off. And the next week, I would check on him, usually sneaking in the middle of the night and stealing a bottle of that delicious wine. Note to self, get a death buddy with good taste in wine. My plan was perfect. I told my sister, and she, always supportive, said, "Sardinia is nice." My brother, always the pragmatist, asked, "Why don't you just die in America? That way we don't have to travel that far to get you." My youngest daughter wanted to come with me so that she could meet a cute Italian guy. In compensation for the free room and board in my Italian villa, she promised to throw my carcass into the ocean herself. Sardinia might not be far enough away. I am A.F. Winter, and this has been Confusional Arousals.
Don't like bears and don't like spiders. Don't like sharks and other frighteners. Day is scary, yes indeed. Wish wish I didn't have such needs. Cupid's arrows, they're not straight. Love is like a scary date. Hearts are wild, they misbehave. All I want's a love that's brave. Swipe left, swipe right, it's all a maze. Hoping love will end this craze. Awkward moments, silent fears. Still I chase despite the tears.